The gates open, and inside, the silence speaks louder than any trophy. A tree-lined lane leads to a place where time and success seem to have made a pact. Marble, glass, wood, and light, everything arranged with the precision of someone who learned to turn pressure into a plan, and a plan into a legacy. Today, you step into the private world of LeBron James. Stay until the final act. I'll reveal the invisible principle that holds this entire life together and that you can apply tomorrow morning. If you love deep dives into the life, mind, and empire of living legends, like this video now, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next door we're going to open. Before the mansions, there was Akron, Ohio. Before the light, many shadows. A kid between moves, cardboard boxes, school courts, and the insistent feeling that if he wanted a future, he'd have to build it with his own hands. There was no glamorous setting, early buses, late practices, homework on the way, and a head full of questions grown-ups tend to hide. Very early on, someone stuck a label on his back, the chosen one. For many, a burden. For him, a mission board hung on the wall of his mind. When you're named before you've proved anything, 2 doors open, hide, or earn the title every single day. LeBron chose the second. At St. Vincent St. Mary, the country watched. Every game felt like a national audition. Every possession, a line on the resume. Where others shook, he triggered a repertoire trained in an empty gym, reading the game to anticipate the play, the pass before the shot, command of angles, rhythm like a metronome, and advantage created without hurry, 1 brick at a time. The label didn't become a pedestal, it became a checklist. If they call you the chosen one, then choose to work. Repetition until the mistake thins out. Variations until the defense loses its footing. Conditioning until the last minute feels like the first. The teenager who could have fallen in love with the spotlight fell in love with the process. Film, correct, repeat. With every closed practice, a silent promise. I won't prove I'm special in one day. I'll prove it every day. The result was an athlete who didn't depend on the perfect moment because he learned to produce the moment, like turning a dimmer until the room looks the way he wants. Akron offered little inconvenience, but a lot in clarity. There is no sustainable shortcut. There is an identity repeated until it becomes character. And you? What label did they stick on you? Too late. Not for you. Dream too big. Write it in the comments. Soon you'll see how to turn that into a daily method. Draft, spotlights, metropolitan expectations on 18-year-old shoulders. Every possession becomes a verdict. The camera magnifies everything. The miss, the make, the breath. Where many speed up to outrun the noise, LeBron does the opposite. He slows the mind, reads the whole board, and chooses the detail that changes the outcome. LeBron doesn't run from pressure. He organizes pressure. In Cleveland, he learns the weight of carrying a city, turning collective anxiety into simple execution. Hit the right passing lane, put the body in the right spot, make the right teammate look better. In Miami, he learns the grammar of titles, spacing, defined roles, a defense that rotates on time, humility to learn before leading, structure to win before celebrating. Back in Cleveland, he closes the loop, conviction plus, tactical adjustment, break droughts that seemed eternal. In Los Angeles, he shows that longevity is strategy, reprograms the body, recalibrates the load, raises the read rate. Less gratuitous explosion, more pacing, more IQ, more possessions won before the shot. Under pressure, he turns expectation into executable tasks. Hunt the right mismatch, call the pick and roll that squeezes the defense, draw 2 and hit the release at the exact time. Pressure without a method is weight. Pressure with a method becomes energy converted into points. When the clock shrinks, he lengthens the decision. 1 dribble, a pause, a pass, and the game unlocks. In the end, what looked like a mountain becomes a checklist, and a checklist repeated becomes a title, And when pressure lands on you, what happens? Freeze, retreat, or activate what you trained in the dark? Tell me in the comments. The doors open. It's not a residence, it's a functional manifesto. The foyer rises high, bathed in calibrated light. Clean lines, a calm palette, surfaces that don't compete for your attention. There's no excess here, there's intention. The architecture was designed like a daily life UX, save mental energy, reduce friction, direct focus. Every detail removes a needless micro-decision, so your brain has space where it matters. Decision room, low sofas, simple geometry, horizon framed by glass panels. The acoustics are measured like a metronome. Nothing echoes too much, nothing muffles. It's an alignment space, not a showcase. Ideas don't come in to shine, they come in to fit. In minutes, the noise drops and the agenda resolves. Kitchen ritual, continuous stone, logical flow, a mise en place that almost builds itself. Cooking stops being a task and becomes a durability ritual. Nourish, recover, keep the machine reliable. Precision without rush, care without theatrics. The daily gesture that sustains the long game. Office strategy, dark wood, directed light, a wide desk. Business books, notebooks, contracts. The trophies are there discreet, like footnotes to what's already done. Everything points to the next move, the place where planning meets calendar, where maybe becomes agenda. Taken together, the house teaches a quiet lesson. Discipline is design applied to everyday life. Fewer edges, more flow, less distraction, more delivery. The space doesn't call attention to itself. It gives you back attention for what matters. Which space would change your life today? Foyer, living room, kitchen, or office? Comment below. Your vote reveals the missing piece in your system. The lights come on. They're not cars, they're chapters. The garage breathes like a living gallery. Metal, fabric, carbon fiber, and silence before the roar. Some machines speak speed, low profile, aerodynamics that cut the air, the needle begging for track. Others whisper presence, imposing proportions, doors that open like theater curtains. You don't arrive, you appear. Certain lines preserve timelessness, design that doesn't need a date, the kind of beauty that crosses decades without adjusting the mirror. And there are bespoke pieces that declare, I don't follow standards, I create them. Exclusive finishes, fine adjustments, a signature hidden where only the owner knows to look. Amid rare jewels, a simple model catches the eye. Not the most expensive, the most loaded with memory. The seat holds a story, the steering wheel holds a day, the interior scent holds a chapter of life. It's the pattern interrupt that reveals the thesis. The collection isn't a display for visitors, it's a living album for the one who remembers. Performance here isn't an isolated number, it's narrative in motion. Each engine fires up a memory, each headlight turns on a stretch of the road. And the whole set teaches, machine is language, choice is identity. If you could pick one car today, would you choose speed, presence, tradition, or exclusivity? Drop it in the comments. Everyone wonders, how do you sustain a lifestyle like this? One word, numbers, but numbers with a thesis. Playing contracts and endorsements provide the initial oxygen. The game changes when the signature becomes equity, when presence becomes a stake, and when audience becomes owned media. Content production, image licensing, stakes in brands, well-positioned real estate, and strategic stakes in companies that grow while you sleep. The key is simple and sharp. It's not salary that builds an empire. It's the ability to convert contracts into assets. A fee becomes a percentage. An appearance fee becomes a royalty. A bonus becomes a recurring asset. Instead of just showing up in a campaign, you co-create the product, earn on sales and on residual value. Instead of just renting out your image, you build a brand of your own and control the narrative. Instead of depending on the game calendar, you create parallel cash sources, media, beverages, technology, entertainment, and real estate. Diversify revenue streams. Implement simple governance. KPIs, cash flow, reinvestment. Make it enduring with assets that outlast time and the individual. Vision guides the money. Money accelerates the vision. When those align, lifestyle stops being a cost and becomes a byproduct of well-designed choices. If this mental map is helping you think about your own game, subscribe now, turn on notifications, and comment on which part has opened your mind the most so far. Another arena quieter this time, the meeting room. No crowd, no replay, only time, numbers, and consequences. The game changes uniforms, but the logic is the same. Read, anticipate, execute. Metrics. No one decides in the dark. Before the yes comes data. Audience, LTV, CAC, margin, risk, scenario. Projections with explicit assumptions. Price sensitivity. What if? To stress test the model. If the numbers don't add up in Excel, they won't add up in real life. Memory. Past error becomes a system revision. There's post-game for contracts too. A post-mortem of what worked, failed, clauses that were missing, terms that saved the day. Every negotiation feeds a playbook, checklist, red flags, non-negotiables. Learning fast is worth money. Moment, timing turns a good idea into a historic decision. Market window, product cycle, investor sentiment. Know when to wait and when to enter. Sometimes taking a smaller check now buys the option to scale later. Sometimes saying no today saves years. The same training obsession applies to contracts, comma by comma, term sheet, lockup, exit clause, performance KPIs, lean governance, so operations don't stall. You don't win an empire only on the scoreboard. You win it in the clauses. On the whiteboard it's clear. Strategy is choosing where to lose a little to win always. And while everyone argues about the spotlight, he secures the rights to it. Side door. The sound shifts. Breath, metal, controlled impact. It's not a gym. It's a performance center. Nothing extra, nothing missing. Every tool has a purpose. Every set has context. Mobility, preserved range, protected joints. Kinesio tape, bands, stability balls, active stretches that wake up hips, ankles, and spine. The goal isn't to open up just to open up. It's to unlock the movement the game demands. Useful strength, compound movements, real transfer, squat, push, pull, rotate. Power that starts from the ground, travels through the core, and reaches the hands. Heavy enough to build, controlled enough to not waste. Intelligent cardio, loads and durations that mimic the fourth quarter. High-intensity blocks, calculated rests, guided breathing. Keep a cool head when legs are heavy and the clock tightens. Recovery, cold, heat, breath, mental focus. Reduce inflammation, oxygenate, recenter. Short, consistent routines that pay dividends the next day. Repeat, adjust, consolidate. No heroics, measurable consistency. Training log, small improvements, technique that saves the body. The goal isn't just to play well. It's to play always. Longevity isn't a gift, it's discipline practiced in silence. Which part of your routine is non-negotiable? Write it here. What you protect every day becomes cumulative advantage. No one builds an empire alone. Behind the stage, LeBron keeps a tight circle. People who see far, tell the truth when it's uncomfortable, and protect the scarcest resource, attention. It's a noise filter and a decision accelerator. There's the straight shooter who points out course drift, the strategist who stress tests scenarios, the operator who turns plan into timeline, the time guardian who says no to what's expensive but distracting, and the team historian who recalls lessons paid for with mistakes. Fewer voices, more data, less flattery, more coherence. Before the big table, ideas run a pre-game, written assumptions, clear metrics, explicit risk, viable alternatives. A small red team tries to pop the enthusiasm balloon. If it survives there, it survives outside. The circle has veto when an invitation breaks the core thesis, and it has an accountability pact. Results, learning, and values alignment. The invisible gain is energy. When a few filter well, the focus of many isn't wasted. Yeses become rarer, nos get faster, and maybes turn into deadlines with next steps. The tight circle is the shield of the vision. It doesn't exist to applaud. It exists to preserve what matters, today and 10 years from now. Who's in your tight circle? Write one name, the person who holds up the mirror when you'd rather look away. After the arenas, the lights go out. What remains is simple life, family close, meals without numbers, conversations without agendas, small rituals that anchor the human. The myth attracts, but it's the man who endures. At the table, no one debates metrics. They share old stories, memories that don't fit in a contract. The clock slows down, the phone goes silent, and laughter fills the space that used to belong to noise. The real pattern interrupt isn't excess, it's protected normalcy. A coffee made just right, a regular weeknight dinner at home, a walk without flashes. Laughter at the table weighs more than the roar of an engine because it organizes the soul. It keeps the big name from emptying out the person. And when it's time to sleep, the quiet house explains what trophies can't, balance. That's what keeps the symbol from dissolving, what restores perspective when the world asks for one more performance. Between the showcase and the private life, there's a pact. The myth sustains the legacy, the man sustains the myth. If the stage is where you win, the everyday is where you remain. What surprises you more, luxury or simplicity? Your answer says a lot about your reading of success. After gates, garages, contracts, and meetings, one question remains: what holds it all up? It isn't a number, a trophy, or a post. It's an invisible line stitching every decision together: coherence. Coherence in training. Repeat until error becomes the exception. Don't chase the perfect moment. Produce it. Polished technique, predictable conditioning, habit not dependent on mood. Coherence in business. Choose equity over ego, strategy over spectacle. Say no to shiny invites that warp the thesis. Say yes to what compounds long-term, even without applause. Coherence in life. Protect roots, honor bonds, cultivate rituals. What doesn't show on camera sustains what does on stage. Coherence isn't rigidity, it's alignment. It's changing the plan without betraying the principles. It's losing a little today to win always. It's turning discipline into identity and identity into legacy. Coherence turns an athlete into a symbol. LeBron James isn't the sum of records. He's proof that greatness isn't an event, it's a habit multiplied over decades. What value will you turn into a routine starting today so your life moves into coherence? Write it in one sentence. It might be the first real step. And if this immersion inspired you, like the video now, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell, and share it with someone who needs to raise their standard. Here, every week we open a new door. See you next time. Because where there is discipline, courage, and faith, a legend will always be born.